He took one step forward and vanished into thin air, in front of his wife, his kids, and to guests. Broad daylight. Open field. No wind. No sound. No trace. That was September 23, 1880. Gallatin, Tennessee. David Lang, a farmer and father of two, was walking across his own land toward visitors arriving in a horse-drawn carriage. He raised his hand to greet them, took another step, and then he was gone. Witnesses in shock standing nearby were his wife, Emma Lang, their two children, and two well-respected visitors, Judge August Peck and his brother-in-law. All five watched it happen. They described it the same way. He didn't fall. He didn't run. He just disappeared mid-step. They ran to the spot. There was no hole. No trap. No blood. No noise. The ground was flat and dry. One child said Daddy's footsteps just stopped. The search authorities and neighbors combed the land for weeks. Horses and dogs brought in, soil dug up. Ground penetrating tools for that era used nothing. They even poured flour over the field one night to detect movement. No prints ever formed. The marked ground the family placed a white stone on the exact spot. For years, grass never grew there again. And then, months later, David's young daughter Sarah claimed she could hear her father's voice at that spot, faintly calling for help, like from far underground. But when anyone else listened, there was only silence. The silent room was sound that shouldn't exist. This room is scientifically silent, yet people inside hear whispers, footsteps, and screams, and they're not imagining it. You're looking at Orfield Labs anechoic chamber, officially the quietest room on Earth. Located in Minnesota, USA. Engineered to absorb 99.99% of all sound, it's so silent, you can hear your own heartbeat, and even the blood flowing in your veins. But here's the twist: some people who stay inside for more than 10 minutes begin to hear things that aren't supposed to be there. What the science says, the room was designed for acoustic testing, not fear. NASA uses it to train astronauts to handle extreme silence. But after 20 minutes inside, many experience hallucinations. Some hear children crying, faint voices, or heavy breathing even when completely alone. One journalist fainted after hearing what he thought was a woman whispering directly behind him. When lights turned on, he was alone. The lab founder, Stephen Orfield, explained, "We don't know why this happens. The room is silent. The voices are not real, at least not measurable. A shared illusion, or something else." What's even stranger, multiple people report hearing the same exact sounds: a child crying near the far wall, a voice saying "go back" in a whisper, loud footsteps that seem to circle the listener. These are not dreams. They're happening to awake, monitored subjects. Some scientists believe it's the brain creating sound and sensory deprivation. Others say the room might not be empty after all. One more thing. The original blueprints of the lab show the chamber built in a sealed location, but a maintenance log from 1998 reports an unexplained service shaft was discovered beneath the chamber. It wasn't on the plans. No one talks about what was inside. And since then, access to that lower level has been restricted indefinitely. The phone calls after death, the Greenbrier ghost case: a dead woman called her mother for nights in a row. She described her killer, and she was right. This isn't a horror movie. It's a real case from Greenbrier County, West Virginia, in 1897, and it solved a murder. Her name was Zona Heistershoe. Newly married, she was found dead in her home. Her husband said it was natural causes. The doctor agreed. She was buried without an autopsy. Case closed. Until the nightly visits began. The ghost appears. Zona's mother, Mary Jane Heister, began receiving nightly visits in her dreams. But these weren't just dreams. She described them as real, physical, and clear as day, each night for 4 nights. Zona appeared at the foot of her mother's bed and said, "He killed me. My neck was broken." Mary Jane woke screaming. She told the sheriff. He dismissed her until she insisted, "Check the body." She was that specific. The autopsy: the authorities exhumed Zona's body. To everyone's shock, including the coroner, her neck had been broken, exactly as described. Worse, fingerprints on her throat matched one man, her husband Erasmus Shue. He was arrested, tried, and convicted of murder. But here's the part no one could explain. There was no evidence of strangulation visible during her original burial. No signs of violence. No wounds or bruising. And yet, the ghost had told the truth. Court testimony during the murder trial. Zona's mother testified under oath that her daughter's ghost had given her the exact details of the crime. The judge allowed it. Newspapers of the time documented everything, and today, the full court record still exists. The ghost's testimony solved the case. Today Zona is buried in a quiet cemetery in Greenbrier. A state historical marker stands near her grave that reads, "The only known case in which testimony from a ghost helped convict a murderer. The murder was real." The ghost? That's up to you.